Here's a Black History lesson you won't learn at your local indoctrination camp this Black History Month. Did you know that the civil rights movement of the 1950s and 60s sparked a series of policy changes that were major contributors to the destruction of the Black family unit? Let's talk about it. In the first 100 years after slavery was abolished in 1860, quality of life for Black people was steadily increasing. By the 1960s, crime was low, education was improving, and unemployment rates were similar to those of whites. But what's most shocking of all is that 4 out of 5 Black children were living with both parents, and Black women had a higher marriage rate than white women. In other words, despite the fact that the USA was indisputably a more racist country in the early 20th century, strong Black families used to be the norm. But beginning in the mid-1960s, those numbers rapidly and steadily declined until just 1/3 of Black children were living with both parents in the 1990s. That's a 3-fold increase of illegitimate children in just 30 years. So what happened? Well, Marxist ideology took hold of the American people, and the state began incentivizing the destruction of the nuclear family. In 1964, under pressure from the civil rights movement, President Lyndon B. Johnson launched a set of domestic programs called the Great Society. The most ambitious and controversial part of the Great Society was its initiative to end poverty by greatly increasing welfare benefits. Benefits became substantially more generous and under greater control from the federal government. In the words of Harvard's Paul Peterson, some programs actively discouraged marriage because welfare assistance went to mothers so long as no male was boarding in the household. Marriage to an employed male, even one earning the minimum wage, placed at risk a mother's economic well-being. Under Johnson's welfare program, welfare workers would randomly appear in homes to ensure mothers were accurately reporting their family status. If they observed a man living in the home, their benefits would be cut. The benefits available were extremely generous, too. According to Peterson, it was estimated that by 1975, a household had to earn the equivalent of $90,000 per year in today's dollars to out-earn what could be provided by the Great Society's welfare programs. As a result, in today's America, fatherlessness has become an epidemic, and the symptoms are devastating. Children raised in fatherless homes are 4 times more likely to grow up in poverty. 85% of youth in prisons are fatherless. 80% of rapists are fatherless. 90% of homeless runaways are fatherless. Fatherless children are exponentially more likely to commit crime, become pregnant in their teen years, abuse drugs, suffer from obesity, and drop out of school. So the next time you hear a woman say,
"I wouldn't want no man holding me down because I think I can make it as a single parent,"
tell her future children strongly disagree. Alright, so what do? Well, the first step to any change is awareness. So we must identify and acknowledge the problem before we can offer up any solutions. Every time we blame the plight of the Black American on some arbitrary definition of racism, we perpetuate the seedy intentions of those behind the welfare state and do their bidding. It's not compassionate to hold up your fist and condemn the white man for reigning supreme. It's intellectually dishonest, empty virtue signaling. White supremacy is a manufactured problem too big and ill-defined to have any practical solutions. Because solutions are not the end goal. The expansion of government control is. So what is the solution? I mean, I'm not an economist or a political scientist, but I imagine the first step would be to stop doing what hasn't worked for 6 straight decades. I believe it's simple. The government has spent the past 60 years incentivizing broken homes, and we can spend the next 60 incentivizing traditional family values. To start, dismantle the insidious welfare programs of the Great Society and reinstate a man's natural role as family provider. Identify the people in society who truly need our help, not the ones exploiting the system, and allow private charities to help them. Contrary to popular belief, American generosity is extensive. Americans give over $450 billion per year to charity, and 25% of them volunteer their time. After that, you begin rebuilding in the most effective way possible by implementing a massive cultural shift. Stop condoning degeneracy, violence, and promiscuity, and start shaming those who intentionally set our children up for failure. Political change always starts with cultural change. And right now, our culture is stage 4 pancreatic cancer. So stop feeding into the race-baiting nonsense of the same liberals who destroyed your progress and start teaching your children real history. Because those who hate the nuclear family are coming for mothers next. And if crime documentaries have taught me anything, it's that a fatherless child will kill you, but a motherless child will kill you, scoop out your eyeballs, and use your skull as a nightlight.